Welcome to the Martin Bailey Photography Podcast. It's August 21, 2020, and this is episode 715. Today I share an awesome conversation with the incredibly talented Markus Hofstätter. And sorry for butchering your name there, Markus. Markus is a wet plate collodion photographer from Austria. His work is incredible in itself, and we'll look at some of his stunning portraits later. But before that, we talk about his United Art Gallery project, which I'm proud to have also participated in. As this is an interview, I don't have our normal manuscript to share with you, but I have shared the bullet points that we use to give our conversation some structure, and more importantly, I have added a gallery of each of the images, mostly photographs and one stunning painting, and I'll also include some of the notes from the artists that Markus provided. I'd like to thank Markus for his work pulling this together, but also I'd like to thank each of the artists, including Markus, for sharing their work with us in this way. I feel richer for having seen these images and reading the artists' stories, and I hope you do too. To view the notes and to see the images, if you're not looking at this on a device that enables you to see the images embedded in the chapters, please go to the blog at mbp.ac/715. And I hope you enjoy our conversation. So Markus, welcome to the show.
Hello, Martin. It's really an honor to be in your show because I was hearing it in my car when I went to any assignments, like, I don't know, it was 2010, from 2010 on and so on. I was listening to your show all the time in between. So I'm happy I'm in.
Oh, that's brilliant. I actually didn't realize that. You dropped me a line recently after I'd spoken with Shane about his wet plate collodion work. And so we got talking and figured that it would be great to have you on the show, because I like to introduce talented people like yourself to the audience. And so here we are today. Thank you for listening to this as well. But we're going to have a conversation about a bunch of stuff, but trying not to leap ahead. Could you first of all tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into photography?
Yeah, I'm a self-taught photographer. I learned it back in 2008 when I was actually photographing pool billiards tournaments. Yeah. So I was a pool billiard player at the time, and I saw some images and I thought, this is gonna be, somebody have to make better images, and mine were not, my images were not better at the time. But I figured it out, and I was traveling around the world and was shooting in China, in America. I'm still pretty well known in this sport for my images.
Wow!
And then later on, I don't know, maybe it was 2014 or something, maybe 2013, I started my own photography business here with weddings, events, and such things. But at some point, looking here at the wall, that reminds me on that, I'll tell you about it later. At some point, I got bored with digital. I'm not sure why, but it was like I was missing something. And so I started a project where I was shooting portraits on the street of people. And I was again traveling around the world, and I was shooting it analog with my Mamiya camera. I had a Mamiya 645, and I was sitting with the people on the street and having a good time. And I remember like sitting with a guy in Seattle for 2 days and shooting just portraits. And after a while, I got bored. Like I easily get bored at sometimes, and I shot a large format images of people on the street. And after that worked out, I thought, okay, what's I'm gonna do next? And then I saw this wet plate collodion process, and I had already a large format camera, so I thought, yeah, let's try this. This is gonna be easy, right? So I gonna do that like the shooting on film, and I produced for a month, I think, black plates.
Wow!
It's like nothing was working out. I didn't read a book. I just was looking at some YouTube videos. And yeah, it was like really a disaster at the beginning. But I started to read a book then and get more informed. And now it's 5 years later or 6 years later, and here I am. Now it's 6 years later, and here I am with my studio that's mainly focused on wet plate work, and I'm really happy about it.
Wow. So do you still shoot with your Mamiya and film, or is it all wet plate now, all of your film work?
No, I still have my Mamiya, and I got my girlfriend one of the Yashica twin reflex lens cameras.
Oh, brilliant.
We just went shooting, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I did a portrait on the street again with my Mamiya. That's still what I do.
Yeah.
I had really a character sitting, and he was talking to me. I didn't even have to ask him, and no, I still do that.
Wow. Yeah, I still have a Yashica. My first twin lens reflex camera was a Yashica. They're great little cameras, but of course they're a Japanese copy of the Rolly, and that's what I ended up getting at the end of last year. And that thing's 3 years older than me and still works perfectly. So a tribute to the German engineering behind it. But the Japanese went on and based on some of those early things, Canon were already making cameras from the 1930s or so, but now we're looking online, and out of the Canon market share, I think Canon is now the top, and Nikon has been overtaken by Sony in second place, and Nikon now in third. So they're all Japanese companies. So that early copying and the early Canon cameras were based on Leica cameras and things as well. So it's like they did a pretty good job of copying and then overtaking the market. You have started something that you've called the United Art Gallery, and you were kind enough to ask me to send you one of my images that I did recently on the Rolly, actually, and you kindly put that in there. But can you tell us a little bit about how the idea for the United Art Gallery came about and what it's all about?
Thank you for asking for that. This was, I think all of us know, when the pandemic started, I was sitting at home, and a lot of people were sitting at home, and I didn't have any assignments, and all my wet plate Collodion workshops were called off, and even the private workshops were called off because people had to fly in normally. So nothing was happening. So I was sitting at home, and I thought I'd just express my feelings in my wet plate Collodion images. And I did some self-portraits that was all about COVID-19. And I did an animation in wet plate, and I was sitting there. And at one evening, my girlfriend told me, hey, today there's like a concert where musicians from all over the world are showing their art, their music. Do you want to watch it? I thought, that sounds like a plan. And so I was sitting there and was seeing all these artists from all around the world I never have seen before, some musicians I never have heard before. And I think I had to watch it until the end because I was so amazed about how creative people are everywhere. And I think it took me only one day that I thought, for sure in photography, it's going to be the same, right? So people are sitting at home doing their portraits or doing maybe, I don't know, doing their art, right? So I thought, why not try to start a gallery and show what people are able to do? And mainly, it's the thought behind it was this virus is not stopping us. Or no, let's say it another way. Like our creativity is not stopped by the virus. We still go on. That's the main tagline, if you want to say it like that. And so I bought a domain. I created a website. And at the beginning, I started to write some people like Shane, and I knew already some people from the wet plate Collodion community that they started with their own projects. And the more I got into it, the more people contacted me, and I contacted, of course, other people too. And so it started growing and growing. And with the images coming in, there were also stories growing and growing. And I was not really prepared for that because there were so many heartbreaking stories about people that had a disease before or have lost some of their loved ones, and they all wrote it down with sending in their images. So this was something I didn't expect to happen at that point.
Yeah. And it's so touching, you know, that just to let the listeners know, there's going to be links to everything in the show notes, and you can get to that at mbp.ac/715. But the gallery that Markus has put together, I'm just going to try and get across to the, so, I mean, it's basically just United Art and then .gallery. So you can jump straight over to that as well. But it's full of very powerful, some very moving and profound images. As Markus was saying, that, you know, that during this whole epidemic, people have continued to be creative. And I mean, the image that I've got in the gallery is one from, I put one roll of 12 frames through the rollie on a day when I was going to the hospital, but for me it was just a quarterly checkup. I go every 3 months to get some medication to stop that pesky brain tumor growing back. But I was into the hospital for that. But I'd been stuck in since the last day of my winter tours this year. And this was really the first time we'd had a chance to go out, even though it was just get on a train, go into the city, spend time in the hospital, turn around and come home. But I thought, I've got to do something creative with this day. So instead of just sitting on the train, on the way out, I put a roll of film into the rollie, sitting on the train, and I just started shooting after we got off. And literally the last frame was the one that you have in the gallery. So just as we got back on the train to go home again. And so that's what people seem to have been doing. And that's why I thought that your idea of the United Art Gallery and the way people are coming together and sending you all sorts of beautiful images, and some very profound images, I just thought it's great. And that's another reason why we're sitting here, so that we can obviously let people know. I'm sure many of my audience have already seen this, but if anyone hasn't, and it's certainly worth taking a look at the United Art .gallery website. And like I say, there'll be links in the post for this. We're also going to look at a number of images. You've got a second gallery, the Justice for All gallery. How did that come about?
Yeah, I was, thank you for mentioning it too. So I was thinking about it already, and then people started to write me. So if I have to start a little bit more. There was already a discussion about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was thinking to dedicate a gallery to it, but I thought, on the other hand, it's a little bit, it must be maybe a little bit more, not only dedicated to this one topic, so people can send in different images. So I wanted to have a gallery basically about equal rights. And as the first suggestions, as the first questions came in, if I want to do something like that, I was already working it in the back of my mind, and I thought, okay, 2 people asked me already, so I have to do something. And then I started the Justice for All. The Justice for All came also, it's not my own idea, to be honest. It's like the title came from another artist. That's the Pledge of Allegiance of the United States. There's at the end it says with liberty and justice for all. So I thought that's maybe a good title, and even he told me that. So I decided to use that one. And I think one of the first images, I'm not sure anymore, I had to look up, but there came a lot of different, of course, there's a lot of Black Lives Matter content in there, and I'm really happy people are sending this in. And there were also a lot of other content coming in, like lately from Belarus, there was a portrait. It's actually, I think the artist is from America, but it was related to Belarus. And yeah, just look at the gallery, see the different topics, and it's very moving what people are doing.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So yeah, two great bodies of work over there from artists all around the world. Because I like to keep the conversations to sort of revolve around 10 images, I have selected 7 from the Coronavirus Art Gallery, and we're going to start to look through those now. And so sent you over a draft of the PDF that I send out to the MVP Pro members. And so we'll use that so that we can see the order. Before we jump into the images, though, for the cover I've used a portrait of yourself because it's an interview with you, and it's such a stunning portrait. Obviously, it's shot by someone else. So, could you tell us a little bit about this image?
Yeah, we gonna see a picture of the artist who shot the portrait of me a little bit later, but I try to not say too much about him. But he's actually, he came to one of my Wet Collodion workshops, to my private workshops, all the way in from Israel.
Oh, wow.
And he's a really amazing photographer. He worked with Helmut Newton, and he worked with really, his work is, for me, it's amazing. I'm gonna tell you a little bit later about it when we look at his portrait I took of him. But he's like the first one who did, how you say it, I always forgot about it, like portrait looking sideways, how it's called. It's a
profile?
A profile, sorry. Thank you. Yeah. He's the first one who took a profile shot of me. Yeah. And I was like, I never do profile shots. And he like, why not? It's like on every coin, right? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and so he directed me like every little movement, how my mouth should look like, how I should look with my eyes, and in which direction. He was very picky about it. And then when I saw the image, I was really happy. It's really one of my most favorite portraits of myself. Yeah. And it was created during a workshop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's stunning. So what I'll do is obviously only the people who have a subscription can see it normally, but I will put a screenshot of or I'll just include the image in the blog post so that people can see this, because it really is a stunning image. Let's move on though. So the first of the Coronavirus Art Gallery that you've put together, the first one that we've picked to look at is Jim in the living room. I know that these first 7 images are not your images, but you've had contact with each of the artists. So I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about each of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I contacted this artist or if I saw it in a newspaper or something, but I wrote with Francesca, and I love this image so much because it just shows what it is about. You're at home, but you're still working out. I did the same. I went. I live in a village, so I was walking a lot outside in the woods by myself. But I was just thinking, if you are living in a city, you are maybe like he is an athlete or something and wants to work out a lot. He's gonna do it at home, right? And the image just captures everything. You see like his environment, you see like the cat is still also living there. And recently in the news, we learned that cats are now more friendly because the owners are more at home.
Oh, really?
In the times. Yeah, no, they just had an article about that in our news. Like they are more happy because we're at home.
Oh, brilliant.
And I just like the view. It's like, yeah, he's doing his thing and she's doing her thing because she's a photographer. Yeah. And also the framing I liked a lot. Like the cat doesn't bother that he's working out. He's like, right. Yeah. I'm going through here now, like cats are.
Yeah. Yeah. So the really cat makes it, doesn't it? It's just the way it's just all 3 of them are going about what they do. The cat walking around the apartment and house. It's really cool. I also like that they look like slippers. You got the dumbbell in the foreground there with slippers in front of them. It's the whole I'm at home and I'm going to make the most of it sort of feeling is wrapped up in this image. It's great. So let's see the next one. Alisa as a hero. This is it's a stunning photograph. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, sure. So there's a little bit more to tell about that one right now because I just got some great news.
Oh, what's that?
So no, it's this was one of the first images that came in. Eric sent it by himself, and I just saw the image and I got really paralyzed. I think it's the right term to say. It was like, it really got me because it's his wife and she's working as a nurse with COVID-19 patients. And just imagine having one of your loved ones going to a place where she can get infected like every moment. And this look she had on this wet blade collodion portrait was so intense. I was really so moved by this portrait, and because there's a good surprise right now with it. I recently figured out that the work of Eric was published at the Washington Post. Maybe you can put a link on it.
Yeah,
it's amazing how many different frontline workers he captured in the wet blade collodion process until now. I did not know that. If you look at the Washington Post blog post from them, you see a lot of different people there, and he captured all of them beautifully.
Oh wow! And that's amazing, isn't it? Working in this format, in that environment. But yeah, as you said, the eyes of the subject are so sort of they're like intense, but also you can almost sense a bit of fear in there. But there's like it's a bold sort of, I'm gonna do this, but it doesn't mean I have to be okay with it every minute of the day. It's like it's a really intense look. I think it's an absolutely beautiful portrait. And again, it's one of the that I consider to be very profound in many ways. But yeah, just as you were saying though, just the way Eric is actually going in and doing these portraits, it's just crazy stuff. Brilliant.
Yeah, so I still get goosebumps when I look at it. It's really like such a strong image.
It's hard to move on, isn't it? I'm sitting here scrolling through the PDF, and I'm finding it hard to move on, but we have to, because the next one is also beautiful. So the Lockdown Ballet. There are two images from this artist. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, I actually saw these images on BBC, I think. And so I wrote Gemma about if she want to join our gallery, and she was happy to do so. I don't know. I just saw these images, and for me, they looked like fine arts work. I don't know. It was so beautiful. Like when her son is standing on the edge of the bed and posing. And even the one where it looks like he's falling into, I guess it's a living room with the hair. It's such a beautiful image.
Yeah.
And again, like the athlete before, he has to work out or has to do his dance moves at home right now.
Right.
And she captured that so beautifully. It's really amazing what people can do.
Yeah. Both of them, the lighting is absolutely beautiful. And then on the second one where, the boy he's like you say, he's falling forwards, but in a controlled ballet movement kind of way. But the way he's standing in the shadow, not the shadow, the reflection or the light of the window, and it's all like the grid there. And then you look back and you've got the sideboard with the ship, the painting of the ship and the lights and things, and you realize that it is back at home. It's a beautiful home. I wish I lived in somewhere like that, but it's really nice, the light and everything, and like you say, people doing what they do because they love doing what they do. Both the son and Gemma, who's creating the work itself. Amazing stuff.
I just think sorry to interrupt you, but I just think the virus also brings out some good stuff in us, because we finally have some time or we have more time for the stuff we love to do.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, I mean, there's a lot of people sacrificing everything, including their lives. So it's, you know, we have to keep sort of, I try to keep my feet on the ground when I think about this stuff. But if you don't pay the ultimate price to the virus, then I think it is in many ways making life better for people. You of course you hear things of like domestic violence is on the increase because people are stuck together now. And when I quit my day job 10 years ago and started to work at home the whole time, my wife had to put up with me being here the whole time, and it can cause problems. You know, it can be difficult to be together all the time. So in some ways, not great, but I do think that the majority of the time, it's giving people an opportunity to be together and even just to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do because you can't go out. You know, you might pick up a book for the first time in a few years and things like that. So
renovate the house.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's hopefully not all bad.
No, I don't think so.
The next photograph, you can see the guy in the wicker chair there. He is like, is it all bad? Is it the title of this? Will it ever be the same? And this is a photo from Gregory E. Roth. I see from your notes. Again, a beautiful, absolutely beautiful portrait, and it's environmental portrait, and you know, a little bit sort of, again, profound, the darkness around him and everything. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this from your perspective?
So I have to tell before, but normally it would be great if the viewers just see the image before I tell them. But I saw this image and I saw it the same way. It's like really beautiful. The chair is beautiful. It looks, the silver feel to the chair from the black and white image, and he's looking outside, as I said. Looking maybe for a better future or thinking what's going to happen next. It's, I don't know, it has such a beautiful feeling when I looked at the image, because he looks also like a character to me, like with his beard and with his long hair. And he's also like naked, as you can see, and this is mostly a sign for vulnerability. So like we are right now, we are facing something we cannot beat in this moment. So it was a very, very strong image. And when I started writing with him, he told me that he's an analog photographer, or he likes analog techniques. So this was actually shot on an iPhone. Then enlarged with a printer. Wow. And printed with how's it called? Give me a second. I have to read. It's printed on a salt print afterwards. So he used like the modern digital way to take the printer, to take the image, and print it then on a salt print. So I thought this is really interesting.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Again, people getting creative with the situation that we're in. So the next one, this is obviously a painting or a drawing, or acrylic on canvas. So again, it's the fact that you're including all kinds of art. You know, you haven't restricted it to photography. You've got paintings and illustrations in your gallery as well, which is great. But this one is one of the ones that jumped out to me as soon as I went through your gallery. Stunning painting. This is from Nayana Lafond. Tell us a little bit about this if you know anything about it.
Yeah, I had a lot of conversation with Nayana because we did also an interview, so I know much more. I can maybe tell a little bit more about her art. So first of all, I just want to describe the image. And the first thing I thought when I saw this image was, that's a nurse that's going into a fight. She's getting ready, like somebody's going to a boxing ring or something just before he's getting ready. That was the impression I had, you know. And the image is called Blue. And the color blue is a color that Nayana reminds all the time on a hospital, because in hospital there are a lot of things are blue, maybe to calm down the patients or make them feel better, but it's the color that a lot of hospitals choose. She told me that in the interview. There is a whole interview where she talks a lot about her art and how she became a painter, but she also is a leukemia patient, and she had also a bone transplant. So she's used to be in self-isolation for, I think she said now, 8.5 years. So for her, this is normality.
Wow.
So it was really, for me, the interview was really hard, not hard, but it was really, I think I was really getting wet eyes very often, because the story is so heartbreaking. And she's such a strong person. She has a lot of other paintings that are from the hospitals, but also from her friends now. She's doing now portraits from friends wearing masks. That's her own series. And then she also comes from what I think is really interesting, and what you can see in the images. She's coming from a photography background. So she learned to shoot black and white and color film, and she enlarged her own film. And that's when she's painting black and white, what she does a lot. She always tries to get all the different tones of whites, grays, and black into the image. So that's what she learned during her classes or her study in photography. And I think you can see that in her paintings.
Yeah. The tonal qualities, that's why I even slipped and went back to calling it a photograph a moment ago, partly because the eyes is so stunning. It's almost like a photograph. It's perfectly crisp and everything is beautiful. But again, the tonal values, the tonal qualities are absolutely beautiful. The way that Nayana has included all of the, pretty much everything from a very light grey, almost white, right the way down to blacks. So you can tell that she's aware of those tones and deliberately making sure that she gets them all in the image. It's absolutely stunning. But like you said as well, that putting that mask on, it's like, okay, again, like the photo earlier, the eyes tell it all. It's like, wow, they're off to war. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's just really, there's also, I think she's selling now, finally she's set up a shop, and she's selling prints and originals. And just go to her website and look at the other images she did. She has also, like, I think on her Facebook, these time lapses when she's painting.
Wow.
She's doing live sessions too from when she's painting, I think, for the most paintings, and with some music in the background. I was sitting at some days and I was working beside it, and I just listening to the music. She was listening and looking her painting. It's super relaxing.
Wow.
You gotta do that.
Yeah. Wow. I'll have to check it out. I will include, I think pretty much everything that you sent has links. So I'll include the links for all of the artists as well. So excellent stuff. The next one, Claustrophobia, from Julien Pironin. Can you tell us a little bit about this? Oh, it's France, so probably Pironin. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know either. So I hope Julian is not mad at us, but it's gonna be okay. So, I don't know. I'm bad with pronunciation of other names too. So I saw this image actually on, I think I was connected with him because he's also a wet Collodion artist. So I saw it on his page somehow, and I thought it's about the COVID-19 topic, but it wasn't. It was just a series he did, and but I thought it's just a strong image. I saw that image and it made me feel uncomfortable. When I saw this image, it's called claustrophobia, and I had this feeling immediately, like sitting in this box and this strong vignette that really sucks you into the center of the image. And also you can see the swirly bokeh a little bit. So it was pretty sure he was using a Petzval lens for that, what is pretty common in with the wet Collodion artists.
Wow.
But it was such a strong image, and I asked him, "You don't want to contribute to the United Art Gallery?" And he was like, "No, it's not a COVID-19 image. It was not meant to be a COVID-19 image." I said, "Yeah, but it fits perfectly in our time right now." And then he decided to do so, and even in the description he wrote it that it was not meant for that. But I think it's just such a strong image.
Absolutely. And I mean, just to me, the strongest part of it is the left hand reaching into the corner. It's almost like I'm crammed in this box, but I want out. I want to. That hand is clamoring to pull him out of the wooden box. So it really does make you think, almost like I want out of this isolation, or being crammed in is obviously symbolic of being stuck in our houses, but that hand is clamoring to get out. Like, I mean, I can't wait to go. We're allowed to go out here in Tokyo, but we're in our second wave now, and so there's like 300-400 people every day getting new patients being found, and you just don't want to risk going and sitting in a restaurant, even though you can now. So most people, that's why Tokyo is doing pretty well, because the population are self-isolating without being told to, really, because people are scared to go out and get the virus. So but I can't wait until we can go to a restaurant again and just sit and have a beer and a chat in a public place.
I was just missed to hug people. If normally you give your hand to a friend or to your mom, or I don't know, if I was working with a model or something and we had a great time together, I just hug the people and say thank you, and you can't do that right now.
Right. It's a weird time indeed.
It is.
So we're going to move on now to some of your work, the portraits. I mean, this is absolutely stunning work as well.
Thank you so much.
No, not at all. I mean, this first one, you've let's see. So, Gabrielle, this is the person that shot your self-portrait, yeah?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this.
So I give wet Collodion workshops, and Gabriel saw one of my videos or something about me, and I remember that day I was in my garden low mowing and my phone rang, right? So, and if you don't know the number, like, I know maybe most phones do, but my iPhone tells me like it's from Israel. I was like, okay, a call from Israel. And Gabriel is on the phone and he just told me, yeah, we talked a little bit, but he told me he's gonna want to make a workshop, right? So I said, yeah, he can come over, but he came over, I think 2 weeks later. It was like immediately.
Wow.
And we connected pretty well. He's really a super nice person. And I was busy these days, but I remember when my girlfriend told me, he worked with Helmut Newton. And I was like, really? I didn't see that, because she looked at his website.
Wow.
And so we met in Vienna. He drove with him out to my studio. And as always, I explained the process, and then for a demonstration, I make the first portrait. But mostly I don't do only portraits. I always think a little bit to capture a little bit more. And because he is a man, I was thinking I go on with a little bit more harsh light. And I always like to shoot Rembrandt lighting. And he already was striking in this pose, and I really liked it because I know with the shallow depth of field, the lens I shot it with is a 220mm f3 lens.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fast for a large format lens.
I see. Yeah.
And yeah, then we captured that image, and I think one of the next images was the one that you showed before, the portrait of me. And I liked the image so much that I asked him if I can send it in for a competition, because we have like in Austria, it's called Menschenbilder. It's like, if you want to translate it, it's human images. It's mostly, it's an open exhibition where everybody can go. And if you get selected, your image is going to stay there and go through different cities normally for 1 year. And the image of Gabriel was selected for that.
Wow.
I was super happy that the people were able to see it. And yeah, a little bit later on, the Association of Professional Photographers in Austria asked me if I want to join the World Photography Cup with some images. And I thought, if I join with this image. I sent in 2 others, I think.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this image was selected for the Nations Award at the World Photography Cup, was it 5 months later or 6 months later? And I was super happy about that. It was like, maybe a lot of people know that this was a wet-lit Collodion image, but I'm not sure if everybody knew. And it's just, for me, it was a great honor to be selected for that.
Wow. Yeah, it's stunning photograph, and of course it's a stunning photograph that he shot of you as well. So great session.
Yeah, what I forgot to say, and a little bit later, it was just after I won the prize, the Silver Crane Classics. It's a magazine of analog photography. Chose this image to be on the front page. So this was like really amazing year for me for my wet-lit Collodion images of portraits.
Yeah, excellent. Tell us about you sent over some images of your portraits on stands in public places. Tell us a little bit about that. What are you doing there? Is that like a local community thing, or how does that?
No, these are the dimension builders. So these are the human pictures. And this is initiated from the Association of Professional Photographers here in Austria. And there's once a year. Is it once a year? Once a year, you can send in 3 images. And if your image gets selected, it's gonna be shown in up to this year's exhibition is shown up to 4 cities. So they have it in one city in a place for maybe 3 months, and then it moves to the next city. And it's really cool because people really see images, a lot of great images. There are so many great images in this exhibition. It really in a big size. You can see it's like, I don't know, is it 1.5 meters or something? Or
yeah, it looks about, yeah. It is a good size.
Yeah, and I think it's like 30 images you see there. Wow. And it's on public places. I think it's really cool that it's free for everybody to watch, and people can say what professional photographers are doing here.
Yeah, wow.
Because normally you're on the internet and you have to go on their website or on the Instagram or somewhere else. But so the public can see it, and I think it's a great idea to have a project like that.
Absolutely, it's great that sort of thing is happening in Austria, because Tokyo has a vibrant art scene, but it's not photography is not really big here for photography in Japan is more of, it's almost confined to being a hobby. Even Canon, in most countries, Canon team up with really popular and good photographers that are helping to show how their cameras can be used and to make some stunning work. But here in Japan, I feel as though they're almost purposefully not teaming up with the best photographers, because they want to show photography as being hobby based. It's almost as though they say they want to share mediocre work so that people can have something to aspire to, rather than, it's probably also because a lot of the sort of middle-aged and elderly Japanese are very modest, and they're not really confident that they can do anything. If you make it too good, they're going to say, oh, well, I can't do that. And there's probably a mentality kicks in, and they say, so I'm not going to buy that camera. But the younger generation are not like that. The younger generation, it's like in sports and in art and in many things, the younger generation are completely out of the mold, and they're doing lots of great things. But I think the older generation is perhaps a little bit more lacking in confidence, and so the marketing is really more about keeping photography as a hobby. The galleries here have a really hard time selling anything because people don't hang you'll see photography as art in, obviously in some galleries, and also in cafes and restaurants and things sometimes, but it's not something that people buy and sell, art as photography as art for the walls. So I know one gallery that he told me I did a joint exhibition with him a few years ago, and he was telling me it's really hard to sell. Even if you have a bricks and mortar gallery here, it's really hard to sell anything. So it's nice that you've got that scene in Austria that that can help to get the stuff out there.
It's interesting. I did not know that about the mentality, but I never have visited Japan, so that's also on my list. I'm gonna do that at some point.
Well,
but we are really go on.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you ever want to hook up for a workshop or something here, a wet plate collodion workshop, I would attend it, but I'd love to help you get something like that off the ground as well. So yeah, we'll have to talk about that offline.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. First we have to pass this year, and then next year hopefully we have new opportunities. What I want to say, we are so lucky here in Austria because very close to my hometown we have, I think it's the biggest exhibition the biggest free to air exhibition in Europe. It's like this one you have seen, just with bigger images, and it's 7 kilometers long.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
They have like wildlife images on houses. Like last year they had on a cafe, I think it was like 20 by 10 meters, a lion with a sunset.
Wow.
It's called the La Gazelle, and it's so beautiful. And you're gonna need 2 or 3 days to see all the images.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
That sounds...
I'm gonna send you some afterwards. I just send you some snaps I did with my phone so you get an idea. It's unbelievable.
Oh,
if you
brilliant.
go there, you're thinking you are in a fantasy world of photography.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that that's happening. Wow. Okay, so the next one is also one that you had in. You've got one out in the streets with the boy included in the photo. So tell us a little bit about this one.
So I was lucky enough. I was lucky enough to be asked to show my wet plate Collodion process and how I do portraits. It's one of the biggest photography fairs in Austria. It's called the Photo and Adventure. And I had a booth there with my mobile darkroom, and what can I say? I have I do live streaming out of the darkroom so people can see what's happening, because I think it's just interesting to see how it's developing. And so I have a little camera in there and a flat screen TV out there. And at some point people could come in and buy a portrait. And Paul came in, and I have to explain a little bit more maybe about the wet plate Collodion process. It's not very light sensitive, so you have like ISO 0.5. Shin's gonna has explained that already, but it's a part of the story. And you have to sit steady for at least 10 or 15 seconds because you have a very shallow depth of field. So it's with the 200. Just imagine everybody, if you have like a 200 millimeter Canon lens, there is a lens with f2.8. If you have autofocus and it follows your face, but if you wouldn't have any autofocus and you try to capture a portrait of somebody, it's gonna be tough to focus by hand, right? So my sitters have a headrest where they're not really resting on it, but it just gives them a point they can relate to, and they know if they move their head. And so Paul is a very young kid, as you see, and he's a very happy one. And so I was sitting with him before I took the portrait and told him, you're gonna have to lean your head a little bit against the headrest, so I get you in focus, and I explained in everything like I always do. And then I prepared the plate, and after I had the plate in my plate holder and went out to him, I had the feeling, normally I have to explain also, I do, like Shane does a 10 seconds exposure, normally I do a 2 or 3 seconds and have a very powerful strobe. It's like you're shooting natural light and using the strobe as a fill light somehow.
I see, yeah.
That's what I do with my Collodion photography. But I knew with a kid, I don't have these 2 or 3 seconds. So I told my assistant, just to crack up my strobe a little bit. So it was at about 4,500 watts or something, just to get really this quick exposure. And I focused again on the ground glass, put in the plate holder, and handed in one hand I had the release for the strobe, the wireless one, and in the other hand I had the lens cap. And I started to talk with Paul and told him always look into the black thing where the lens is going to be revealed afterwards. And then I remember I made a joke and made him laugh, and I just saw this smile coming up. And I was like, oh, I have to be quick. And I don't know, I rushed the lens cap off the lens, and I pressed the strobe release, and I put it on. I think I managed to sync the strobe in under half a second or something. Really, I tried to be as fast as possible. And I was not sure because he was really laughing if he moved his head or not. So I was super excited to go back into the darkroom. And during development, I already saw the sharp eyes, and I saw the eyes were open. But normally, you know, when you laugh, it's at the beginning you have your eyes closed, and always try to capture the moment right afterwards. And when we went outside and I fixed the image, during the fixing process, it washes away the silver that's not exposed, and the image comes to life, so to say. And I saw it was like perfect. It was really, all the preparation worked out, and it was such a perfect image. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to shoot so many of those with this really honest, laughing expression, because normally, if you've seen the other ones, they are pretty... there's an intense look, there's a strong look, and that's what I'm going for. But I was so happy I risked the chance to go for a smile, and I got it in this image.
It's beautiful. And his freckles are so cute. You know, all the freckles, and like as you were saying, the depth of field really makes these photos, doesn't it? You know, the way it's just his face, just his eyes, and then maybe a small part of the fringe, the hair. And everything else just goes out of focus so quickly. It really is a beautiful aesthetic. It's a great look. You know, it was a good choice to make the photograph when you did. Excellent stuff.
And this also started now this year to is included in the human pictures. So I think you're sharing this image as well, where he's standing behind his own portrait, and his father is holding him above it, so it looks like he's 2 meters tall.
Oh, I see. I wondered what was happening there. I see his dad's feet now. Excellent. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so the last image, so we, like I say, keeping it to 10, we only have a chance to look at 3 of your beautiful images, but
that's fine.
This last one, tell us about this.
Oh.
this is stereoscopic, right? Stereographic, you call it, not stereoscope.
Yeah, no, it's a stereo. It's a stereo image.
Yeah, wow.
It's I went to this exhibition in Vienna about stereographic photographs, and I liked them a lot. And I have like an issue with myself when I come up with a new idea with a project. I always think, I'm gonna do that in some days, and I'm gonna try that too. So I was thinking to shoot stereo wet plates. And I think my girlfriend already knew me better than I know myself. It's gonna be a longer project. And so I modified my camera to a stereo camera for 7 months. I think it really took a long time. I had so much woodworking to do. I made, normally you have like the measurement between the eyes is like about 6 centimeters or 6.5 centimeters, and your lenses should also be there. And but I knew if I want to shoot Markus or something else, I have to move the lenses, like make the distance between the lenses bigger and smaller. And then I figured out, because of the focus, I needed also like a little bellow on the lenses so I can adjust each lens by itself. And then I figured out, and I need a shutter to expose both lenses at the same time. And then it started to get even more difficult because I had to find 2 Petzval lenses that focus on the same spot. I didn't realize that every lens focuses a little bit different. And even if I would adjust it, like I would put one lens a little bit far away to focus on the same spot, the image circle would be bigger. So the one image would be bigger, the other smaller. Oh my! But as I'm always, I cannot let it go, and I tried really to make it as good as possible. That's always what I do. And so after 7 months, I could finally shoot the first stereo image. It was some different one, and Clarissa, the girl you see, and this photograph was my first portrait I did. And we only did 2 portraits, and it took me 7 hours for these 2 portraits because there's so much to set up with this process at all. And then it's an ultra large format, so it's 30 by 40 centimeter plate. It takes even longer to get it perfect, and then set up the camera. And I had to also to rethink how to do a portrait, because normally I'm the kind of guy who likes to have very very simple portraits. I don't like to have the shirts or clothes involved too much, but because it's 3D, you have to think different, I wanted to have some wrinkles in the shirt, and then I wanted to have some other stuff in it. So something pops out of the image, right? And then I put her hand in the front, so we have like the 3D effect makes sense. And this all takes a long time, and I really like the image you chose for that, because that's one of my favorite ones. I like her look. Yeah. If you see the image where she's holding the big plate in her hand, she looks totally different than on the image. Yeah. And also, like before, she has freckles, and the process is sensitive to blue light only. That means everything that is red is going to get dark. I see. Everything is blue is gonna get bright. So if you have blue eyes, they're gonna get very bright and very intense. And everything that's like the freckles or red hair is gonna get black. So
I see. Wow. But it adds such a I don't know. I can't think of a good word for it, but it's stunning how they look. I didn't realize that about the blue light. But it makes a lot of sense. The boy with the freckles as well, being enhanced a little. That's such an amazing thing. It's a stunning effect. So let me just jump in and ask a little about the stereo thing then. So I noticed in one of the images where you've got them overlaid, you've got the red and the green fringing. So if you look, you end up having to look with like red and green stereoscopic glasses. Yeah.
With the ones. I show it to you right now. It's we can, if you have like these cheap glasses with blue and red, you can see it easier. I can send you over a second one where you can use it with the cross-eyed technique. You're gonna have to be trained to do that, and not everybody can do it.
I have one. Well, I have 2. In Namibia, when we're doing wildlife work, occasionally we'll see an animal and we'll stop the car. And as the car grinds to a halt, I shoot my first few frames. And I've got 2 lion shots. One lion shot and one of some zebras, where the car is moving when I take 2 frames. So we have literally about 6 centimeters or so between the frames. And so if you put them both on the screen and look at them cross-eyed, you can see a 3D world. It's amazing. But I've shown a lot of people, and only around half of the people that I show can actually do it. So I know what you mean. It's a cool technique, and it looks stunning when you do it. But yeah, excellent. So
you have to be just what's maybe interesting too. This 6.5 centimeters. So you were lucky to get the 6 centimeters. That's just perfect for the human eye. But if you want to do a landscape or something, you need much more. I've seen images. There was the distance between the lenses, like this was not the distance, but 1 kilometer. So you see a 3D effect on a landscape. So you take one picture here and they drive to another place and take one picture here. So you see this effect better on a landscape.
Oh, amazing.
This was another stuff I had to learn. I thought capturing 3D images is easy, but I was reading a book in my vacation for 3 weeks to understand really how this is working and how I had to modify my camera to get this to work.
Wow. I've seen a guy in Hokkaido when I do my winter tours. I've seen one guy he sets up a big, really solid tripod with 2 cameras on it. And he has a cable release hooked up to both of them. And he's literally doing 2 images with both cameras, but they're perfectly in line. It's pretty cool stuff. I've never seen the actual images, but it's a cool setup.
I would love to see your image. Maybe you can send it to me. I would really love to see that with
I've got a couple. The images themselves are artistically, they're not brilliant because they literally just as we pull up the car, but they work. I'll send you them over.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the last image. Can you tell us where people can come to see your more of your work, and also if they want to get in touch with you, where can they go?
Yeah, this is pretty easy. So my name is Markus Hofstätter, and so my initials are M and H. You can find me at mhaustria.com. Okay. Also on Instagram is MH Austria, Facebook is MH Austria.
Wow.
All the places I try to make it simple because, as talked before, my last name is not so easy to pronounce, and my website normally contains my last name. Yeah. And if I tell that somebody, it's like they will never find me. So I decided to also on YouTube, you can find me with /MH Austria. On my channel, you see a lot of my workshops there and of my recent projects there. And even the interviews from the United Art Gallery are on YouTube. So on simply every platform, you find me at MH Austria.
Excellent. Well, that's easy. And I will put links to your website and to the United Art Gallery into the show, the show notes and the post for this episode as well. So, but Markus, it has been an absolute blast. We've been talking for just over an hour, so I think the audience are going to enjoy this. I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking, and we'll have to hook up again at some point, because I'm sure you're going to continue to go on continue your work as a photographer and probably get into some geeky projects and things as well. So maybe as you do more stereo work or stuff like that, whatever you get into, drop me a line and we can talk again. It's been an absolute blast.
I will definitely do. Thank you so much for having me. It was really an honor to be on the show. I was listening for a long time.
Not at all.
Sure, it's really. And thanks again for your time, and have a great evening right now at your time, I guess.
Yeah, excellent. Well, you have a great day and stay safe for the rest of the year or whatever, and we'll try and get together for a workshop or something at some point as well.
Sounds good. Just drop me a line if you visit Vienna.
Will do.
Stay safe too.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. Cheers then, Markus.
Thank you. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation even half as much as I did. As I mentioned in the introduction, if you don't view this or listen to this on a device that allows you to see the images in the chapters, please do go over to the blog at mbp.ac/715, and you can see all of the beautiful images there, as well as the notes that we discussed. Thanks very much for listening today. If you enjoy this podcast, please share a link with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes or your favorite podcast program to ensure uninterrupted delivery. If you have a moment to rate the podcast or leave us a review in iTunes, that helps to keep us relevant in the huge number of podcasts out there now. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and links to everything that I'm up to are at martinbaileyphotography.com. So do drop by and take a look. I'll be back next week with another episode, but in the meantime, you take care and have a great week, whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.